What's going on, everybody? I want to let you know something very near and dear to me just got released today. The Sony financial reports got released, whether it was today or yesterday, or maybe if you're watching this here in 2 weeks, maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Anyways, that's not the point. Astro Bot was said to sell 1.5 million copies. It is a family game. It is a platforming game. And 1.5 million copies. And Astro's face was plastered all over the daggone world. Some people are going to look at that, and some people have looked at that and said, well, that's not a good game. That's a terrible thing. That's awful. Or it's disappointing, and you know what? It should have sold more, was hoping for 3 to 5, blah, blah, blah. It's disappointing for one of the best games ever to sell that little. Whatever. I want to talk about the idea of success and failure in the video game space. When we're looking at these games, what makes a success or a failure? And is Astro Bot a success or a failure? So, let's talk about that. First, yes, we are going to talk about sales. You have to understand that games need to sell to make money. Then, the other thing you need to look at is the how much it cost. How much it cost to make. How big was the studio? Was it a studio of 400 people? Was it a studio of 25? These are things you have to ask. Then you have to ask, for the people who played it, what did they think of the game? Was it a good game? Why was it good? What was the draw for the game? And then, last but not least, you have to see what the company says about it. What does the company say about this game? Because after all, they're the ones that made it. So, let's look at Astro Bot. Was it a flop? Was it not? Who knows? Well, as of today, as of right now, we do. So let's get into it. Sales, 1.5 million. That's awesome. That is fantastic. Okay, let's get into how much this costs to make, right? Team Asobi is a smaller team. It's not an Insomniac. It's not a Naughty Dog. It's not a Santa Monica. It's not a Sucker Punch. It's a smaller team. And from the numbers that I could find, it cost somewhere between 40 and 50 million to make the game. Cool. At 1.5 million copies sold, the game has made its money back. There was a developer not too long ago who said in an interview that, hey, my favorite, how you determine success of a game is, did you make your money back, period. Did you make enough to justify everybody doing their work? And they did. They did. Also, then we get to look at critical reception of the game. How did people who play it, how did they like it? How was it received? How was it in the eyes of the public? Is it a good game? Is it a bad game? Is it getting a good score? Is it getting a bad score? What are folks saying about it? And so from Metacritic, the Metacritic review score is a 94 from Metascore and a 9.3 from user score. That is universal acclaim on both. So, let's go back to the drawing board here. Sales numbers, 1.5 million. Pretty decent. How much did the game cost to make? About 40 to 50 million. And it sold enough to make that money back. How was it received by the public? 94 and a 9.3. That's really, really good. But one of the absolute biggest things that you can look at is what the company says themselves. Sony president, CFO, COO, and SIE CEO Hiroki Totoki said this: Astro Bot, released on September 6th, has received a Metacritic score of 94 and has garnered high praise from the gamer community. It is a hit which has sold over 1.5 million copies in the 9 weeks since its release. 37% of the users who purchased Astro Bot had not purchased a first-party title from us in the last 2 years. The percentage of younger age groups and families purchasing the title was much higher than other titles. It is the the title is contributing significantly to a widening of the user base through the acquisition of new users and expansion of our title portfolio. That is from Zubitech on X. Go check him out. I will link his page in the description below. So, funny enough, Hiroki Totoki also used a lot of the same things that I do. He actually used 3 out of 4 of them. The only thing I added was how much did it cost to make. But he's determined that it's doing its job. It did what it was supposed to do. They're happy about it. And because they're happy about it, and because they view it as a success, why do we have people constantly looking at it going, nope, it was a flop. Nope, it was a floppity flop flop flop. I don't get it. Outside of PCMR or Xbox loyalist, or maybe you're a PlayStation gamer and you're just mad at PlayStation and think every one of their exclusives should sell 5 to 20 million. I don't. But outside of those, it doesn't make any sense. If we have this going for us, how the heck are you going to sit there and say that this game, or any other game for that matter, is a failure? People did the same thing with Stellar Blade. Oh, it only sold 1 million. That's a failure. How do you know? That's a brand new IP. How do you know that game was a failure? The studio and PlayStation, the publisher, came out and said, we enjoyed it. It was great. Congratulations. This is awesome. We're planning this, and we're planning that, and we're planning this for it. Really? How are you going to have all of that? Once again, a small team produced the game. The costs were probably low to make it. It was a full $70 game. They got some money from PlayStation to make it exclusive. And there's so many things that went into that you can look and go, you know what? A million games sold? That's amazing. That company just made 50 million. Do you think that game cost 50 million to make? Probably not. Not to mention whatever money they got from Sony. Not to mention whatever sales have happened after that initial million. Guys, that's a success. But so much console bullcrap goes on where people want to make it out to not be a success. And it doesn't make any sense. I get it. But according to what the actual company is saying, Astro Bot is a success. With that being said, going forward, I want to encourage each one of you who watch this video and watch it in its entirety. I want you to apply this method to every game going forward. Because as you apply this to every game going forward, you're going to stop becoming so one way or another, or it has to sell this much, it has to sell that much, there's no way, the devs are lying, that game's not a success, it didn't, blah, blah. You're going to move from that into a more nuanced position where you start actually gathering facts. And you don't talk crap before you get the facts. And before you can analyze them and go, okay, don't know if it's a success or failure. Nope, gotta wait. Cool. Then wait. Because the worst thing you can do is open your mouth, say something's a flop, only to be proven wrong by the people who actually made the game. Guys, Thrifty PSGR here. Stay thrifty.